Warren presents Warren's Halloween. Season 2, Episode 12. Warren was in his room dressing in his Halloween costume, because he and his cousins were going to go trick-or-treating. He is dressed as the ghost clown, and also has a homemade bloody human head with him. He went to his guardian's bedroom to show them his costume, hoping they would approve of it. However, he found his mom performing oral sex on his dad. Not long after, Warren's aunt and his cousins arrived, and they were both going to go out and trick-or-treat. Warren saw his cousins' Halloween costumes. Manevly is dressed as a princess, Brandon is dressed as a superhero, Veronica is dressed as a witch, and Willie is dressed as a clown. Warren had fun messing with Willie's costume as the two families had a little Halloween party. After it was time to go out, they got ready and got in the car to drive to the neighborhood. They soon stopped at a neighborhood with many trick-or-treaters. Brandon wanted to participate in a haunted house maze, and Warren wanted to go too. Unfortunately, they both don't have $5 with them to go in, so they had to go ask the adults for money to go inside. After they both succeeded, they waited in line, and later, they finally went into the haunted house. Inside, there was a roaming killer clown and a few zombies. At one point, Brandon and Warren separated, and they both experienced the horrors of the haunted house. Warren got through rooms such as the Room of Hell, a bloody hallway, and a room full of dead corpses. Brandon got through rooms such as the Room of Spiders, an air vent tunnel in which a zombie is chasing him, and a room with flashing lights. Warren, Brandon, along with other people earned candy for getting through the haunted house and participating in the whole thing. The two walked to look for both of their parents, but Warren ran off to get some candy from a residence's house. The candy was free for trick-or-treaters, but Warren instead grabbed all of it, since the family of the home was not there. Some older trick-or-treaters saw this, and went to confront Warren, but Brandon stopped them by yelling, and Warren successfully ran along with Brandon. The two later met up with the adults and their kids, and they continued looking for houses. After getting candy from some residents, they went to this one house near their neighborhood that was decorated with many bloody, gore, and terrifying themes, even one showing an evil hanging ghost. Warren's cousins said that they always go there every Halloween. Because it was so scary, it became the most popular decorated Halloween house in the entire neighborhood, where many trick-or-treaters came to get candy. When they got there, a big homemade spider was on the roof, creeping out Warren's mom. As they went to the garage to get some candy, Warren stayed outside to check out the decorations. At that moment, an 11-year-old boy, who dressed as a creepy clown, came up to Warren and gave him candy before spooking him out all of a sudden. It is revealed that the 11-year-old boy was a family member of their parents' decorated Halloween house. Later, the two families saw a haunted house party that everyone was welcome to step in. As the older kids decided to go inside, Jim asked Warren if he wanted to go inside the scary house, and he said yes. Even though his heart was beating faster and harder, Warren nevertheless went inside and saw a lot of people dressed as monster-like creatures, and horrific, bloody Halloween decorations. Brandon, Veronica, and Manevly went inside along with their parents, but Willie was too scared to go in, so he and Jim went trick-or-treating to other houses. Inside the haunted house, Warren got a cup of juice, which is supposed to be disguised as human blood, and he drank it. As many people and children were having fun, Warren got a little dizzy, because there were too many party-goers and too many disco lights. Having no idea where to go, he leaned on a Frankenstein decoration that was holding an axe. Warren successfully avoids the axe, but suddenly, the lights go dark. A few colorful lights were still on, and when the music kicked in, everybody started break-dancing. Warren couldn't really see what was going on, but he tried to pretend he was having fun, and danced around other kids he did not know. Warren said he wanted to go outside, but instead, he, Veronica, Manevly, and Willie were welcome to chill out in Veronica's car if they wanted. Warren, Willie, Veronica, and Manevly stayed in the car when Manevly spotted someone in a monstrous costume. Right at that moment, all four of them thought it was an actual monster, though Veronica and Manevly knew it was not. The two girls showed Warren and Willie to the stranger, and all of a sudden, the stranger started yelling at them, running towards them. Through the dark, all four of them hid in different places after speeding away separately. After 1 minute, the coast was clear. As they chill out in Veronica's car, Willie starts whining because he didn't have enough candy, since he ate most of his. And they still had their candy, but they both encouraged Warren to give some candy to Willie. Warren thought they were assholes for that, because Warren has eaten half of his candy from his bag, so he just gave Willie one candy, which was a Mr. Good bar. As Willie ate some of it, the monstrous stranger started walking toward their car. Afraid, Warren and the two girls ducked cover, all three of them except Willie, even though he was told to do so. Luckily, the stranger passed their car since the inside of the vehicle's lights were off, and they couldn't be perfectly seen. At one point, Warren attempted to trick Willie so he could get some of his candy. However, Warren noticed that Willie wasn't up, as if he was already asleep. Right as he was going to take his candy, Willie suddenly vomited out blood and collapsed to the ground. Manevly noticed this, and she went over to pick him up, but after trying to figure out what had happened to him, she smelled his breath. That's when she realized Warren had given Willie a candy with nuts for him to eat. To make matters worse, Willie did not seem to be breathing. By that moment, Veronica saw the whole thing. It dawned upon them both that when Warren gave Willie the Mr. Good bar candy, it was so dark in the car that they couldn't see what Warren had given him. Speaking of Warren, he had no idea what was going on. As Manevly sobs in disbelief, realizing her and Veronica's irresponsibility, Veronica tries to revive Willie, but to no avail. They both decide to get rid of any candy of theirs that contains nuts. They couldn't budge Warren to hand them over his candy with nuts in them. So after throwing the peanut candies in a nearby trash can, they did their best to wipe off the vomit and blood off of Willie's face. Warren was still confused by what was going on at that point. After some minutes, it was now time to go home, and the adults including their kids were on their way. Warren asked the girls why Willie's face is red, and what happened to him, but they told him he was asleep. Eventually, Warren witnessed Manevly and Veronica lying to their mom, saying that Willie was asleep. Even when asked about Willie's face being red, they once again lied and said that Willie was just crying too much over candy. After a long ride, Warren and his parents got home. Warren gobbled up his candy and even some he stole from his cousin Willie. That night, Warren had nightmares from all the haunting houses he visited, and even saw horrific visions of Willie. Warren couldn't sleep for most of the night. The end.